know how it is, right? New Year's resolution all fired up, then poof, gone a few weeks later.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, building good habits sometimes feels like, well, an uphill battle.
Yeah, I hear that.
Always stuck between, like, pump myself up with motivational quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Or, just willpower, grit my teeth power through.
Oh, yeah, those don't really work long term.
No, they don't.
Not at all.
Motivation, well, it's a fickle friend, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Life throws a curveball, stress at work, tempting dessert. Suddenly,
God.
Motivation's gone.
Poof.
And willpower.
Willpower.
It's a finite resource.
It is.
You start the day strong.
Yeah.
By evening, you're reaching for the cookie jar.
Oh, yeah.
That willpower muscle.
Yeah.
Exhausted.
It's spent.
So how do we break free from this cycle?
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
This is the good stuff.
We're looking at all the concept of mini habits from this book, Allah, by Stephen Guy.
Oh, yeah, guys.
What's really interesting is Guy's himself. He wasn't always like this productivity guru. He was actually a self-proclaimed daisy guy.
Oh, wow.
Tired of, falling short of his goals.
I feel that.
And so what's fascinating about his story is he committed to just one push-up a day.
Just one.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that wouldn't amount to much.
Right.
But the ripple effect was huge.
That's crazy.
He got in shape. He became more productive with his writing and his reading.
Wow.
His blog post about this, John Saya, which translates to challenge one push-up, went viral.
It's amazing how these things
Take off.
And
that's what I love about the idea of mini habits.
Yeah.
It feels almost counterintuitive, right?
It does.
It goes against everything we've been told about, like setting big goals and pushing yourself to the limit.
Exactly, yeah.
But if Guys' experience is anything to go by,
yeah,
there's something to be said about starting small.
There is no.
So in this deep dive, we're going to break down exactly what are these mini habits, why do they work so well, and, most importantly, how can you, the listener, start using them today? In your own life.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It all starts with understanding why typical habit-building advice falls short.
Okay.
Like we said, motivation that's fleeting.
That's right.
It's like a sugar rush,
Yeah.
intense but short-lived.
Yeah.
And relying solely on willpower.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach. You might have the determination. You're going to hit a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So mini habits, they're like providing that sustainable fuel. Like, what exactly are they?
So mini habits are ridiculously small versions of the habit you want to build.
Okay.
So instead of aiming for a 30-minute workout, you commit to just 1 minute.
Okay.
Instead of writing 1,000 words,
Yeah.
maybe you start with just 50.
I get that, but isn't that just lowering the bar? How can such small actions lead to, meaningful change?
Well, that's the brilliant part.
Okay.
Mini habits work by tackling the two biggest obstacles to habit formation.
Okay.
The fear of starting and the struggle for consistency.
Right.
When you set the bar ridiculously low,
Uh-huh.
you eliminate intimidation.
Yeah, there's no excuse not to start.
Exactly. And even on those low-energy days,
Yeah.
doing the bare minimum is still a win.
I like that.
It is.
But I'm still curious about how these tiny actions lead to real change.
So think of it this way.
Okay.
Many habits work with the brain, not against it.
Okay.
Our brains are wired to resist change, especially if it requires a lot of effort.
Uh-huh.
But mini habits, they're so small, they fly under the radar.
Okay.
There's no resistance.
So you're saying, if I commit to just writing, one sentence a day,
Yeah.
my brain's not going to freak out.
Exactly. And what happens is once you've started,
Okay.
even with that tiny step,
Uh-huh.
it's much easier to keep going.
Right.
Guys talks about this spiral of motivation that mini habits create.
This spiral.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Okay, so think about it this way.
Okay.
You do your one push-up.
Mm-hmm.
That tiny action sparks something.
Okay.
You think, well, maybe I'll do 2.
Yeah.
Then 5. Next thing you know, you're doing a full workout.
So it's like that initial mini habit almost tricks you into doing more?
Right.
Without that resistance you'd normally feel.
It's not really a trick. It's more about working with your brain's natural tendencies.
Okay.
You overcome that initial inertia.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you're in motion.
That's cool. But what about those days where
Yeah.
even that mini habit feels like too much?
Uh-huh.
That's where I think the reward system comes in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is another key piece of Guy's framework.
Okay.
He calls them replacement rewards.
Okay.
Since the immediate benefit of a mini habit might be small,
Uh-huh.
you train your brain to associate it with something enjoyable.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to build that writing habit.
Yeah.
Commit to 50 words a day.
Okay.
What kind of reward could I use? to like make that stick?
It could be something as simple as enjoying a piece of dark chocolate,
Oh, yeah.
listening to your favorite song,
Ooh,
maybe lighting a scented candle that puts you in a creative mood.
I like that.
Think about what truly makes you happy.
It's almost like you're hacking your brain's reward system.
It is, yeah.
But how do you know when that mini habit has become like
Right.
a true habit, something you just do automatically?
So one of the biggest signs is a shift in your identity.
Okay.
Instead of saying, I'm trying to be a writer,
Yeah.
you start thinking, I am a writer.
Even if you've only written 50 words that day,
Exactly.
it becomes part of who you are.
It does.
Not just something you're trying to do.
Right.
What about consistency?
Yeah, so when a mini habit comes into a true habit,
Uh-huh.
you don't need willpower anymore.
Okay.
You just do it almost like brushing your teeth.
Right.
It becomes so ingrained that you actually feel uneasy if you skip it.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah,
Mini habits are like these tiny seeds
they are.
that can grow into these powerful habits over time.
Exact.
We're not relying on that fleeting motivation
Right.
or forcing ourselves through sheer willpower.
Yep.
We're rewiring our brains bit by bit.
And you're not just changing your actions. You're
Yeah.
changing your identity, your beliefs about yourself.
And that's where like the lasting change happens.
That's it.
So how can our listener
Right.
who's maybe struggling with their own habits
Yeah.
actually put this into practice?
Well, think about the areas where you're struggling with consistency.
Okay.
Is it fitness, writing, meditation?
Yeah.
What's one tiny step you could take today in that area?
If you're aiming for better fitness, maybe it's just one squat.
Uh-huh.
If it's writing one sentence,
Love it.
if it's stress reduction,
Yeah.
how about just taking 3 deep breaths before you start your workday?
That's the beauty of it. It's
Yeah.
about starting ridiculously small and remembering
Yeah.
even the smallest action repeated consistently can make a difference.
I'm really getting into this idea.
Yeah.
It's so empowering because it feels achievable.
It is.
Even on those days when I'm feeling overwhelmed,
Right.
no matter what else is going on, I can always manage one squat.
Exactly. Mini habits remove the pressure.
Yeah.
Give you a sense of control over your goals.
I like that.
And who knows, maybe that one squat turns into a full workout.
Right.
You've overcome that initial resistance and you're on your way.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive for me.
I know, right?
It feels like we've uncovered this whole new way
Totally.
to approach habit building.
Yeah.
One that's less about like brute force
Oh, yeah.
and more about smart strategy.
Absolutely.
What stands out to you as like the most valuable takeaway?
I think the power of starting ridiculously small.
Oh, yeah.
We often underestimate how those tiny actions can accumulate over time.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get caught up in that all or nothing mindset.
Oh, totally.
If we can't do it perfectly,
Right.
we shouldn't do it at all.
Yeah,
And many habits like flip that script completely.
they do.
It's about giving yourself permission to start small, knowing that even tiny steps can lead to big changes.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the action itself. It's about there's a shift in identity that happens when you start showing up consistently, even in small ways.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with this question.
Okay.
What's one tiny habit you can start today to make a difference in your life?
Oh, I love that.
What's that one thing you've been putting off that you can break down into a ridiculously easy first step?
Maybe it's writing just one sentence for that book you've been dreaming of,
Oh, yeah.
or spending just 1 minute stretching before bed,
Ooh, nice.
or even just expressing gratitude to one person each day.
Pick something that feels exciting and doable, something that resonates with you, and just start.
And see what happens.
You might be surprised by the ripple effect it creates.
I love that.
The key is to take action.
Yeah.
Don't just listen to this deep dive and then go back to your old routine.
Right.
Actually choose a mini habit and commit to it.
And even if you think you can do more, starting smaller is often better.
Okay.
It's about building that foundation of consistency,
Mhm.
one tiny step at a time.
And if you find yourself struggling, remember those replacement reward? Pair your mini habit with something you genuinely enjoy.
Yeah,
Watch how quickly your brain starts to associate that action with pleasure.
absolutely. And if you want to explore this topic further, The
Right.
Power of Habit is a fantastic resource for understanding the science behind a habit formation.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it dives deeper into those neurological loops that drive our behavior.
Well, there you have it.
There it is.
The power of mini habits.
Such a good one.
A simple, yet incredibly effective way to create lasting change.
Small steps consistently lead to big transformation.
So as we close out this deep dive, I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned and most importantly, put it into practice.
Yes.
Do it. What's that one tiny step you can take today to move closer to the life you want to create.
Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in the case of mini habits, maybe just a half a step.
Perfectly said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of mini habits. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep taking those tiny steps towards becoming the best version of yourself.